they really like to lift weights, they like to practice, and they love to play. So, hate it that we're not on the field today, but it's going to take more than Mother Nature to hold us back from this weekend. So, really excited to play. Even though the kids have been doing a good job, we play young. We still play like a team that has 19 freshmen on it. And, I think that's probably a theme around college baseball. Baseball is a game of repetition. And, we just haven't played enough games, in the last 10, 11 months. And, hopeful that we could play cleaner sooner and show some more maturity on the field sooner. But very pleased with the team, very pleased with the roster, very pleased with the mentality and the focus and the way that our guys are going about their work. So you probably maybe have seen that we're going to start Connor Prielipp the first game. Connor got off to a great start last year as a freshman and has really kind of separated himself from the rest of the pack. Don't have any doubt that he'll give us a great start on Friday and give us a chance to win. Antoine Jean will start on Saturday and Dylan Smith will start on Sunday. I've said a couple times, and I told the team, we've got 8 or 9 guys that I'm really anxious to see have extended outings. Antoine and Dylan have thrown the ball really well. I don't want to take away from the way that they have performed throughout the fall and in the preseason, but not a lot of separation from the next 8 or 9. So you'll see multiple guys have extended outings over a period of time, whether that's 2 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever it may be. And at some point, if Antoine and Dylan or Tyler Ross or whoever it is, separate themselves, then maybe we'll settle into a more traditional, pitching type rotation. But until that happens, or even if it doesn't, then we'll just have several guys have extended outings. And certainly the order can change, depending on the opponent and the situation and how everyone does. But, Chase Lee and Brock Guffey are 2 guys that actually have experience on a team that doesn't have a bunch of experience. Those 2 guys are going to pitch often. They're going to pitch in those high leverage situations out of the bullpen, and they've both thrown the ball extremely well up to this point. We're really, really confident in those 2 guys. So McNeese has a good club. In just 4 weeks last year, they had wins over Missouri and Southern Miss. As I've mentioned, we're a team that has 19 freshmen. We have 11 guys on our club that have ever played in an SEC game. And McNeese is going to roll in here with a bunch of 21, 22, 23-year-old players. So they'll be excited to play. They've been picked to win their league by some publications. And they do have a bunch of older guys. Very left-handed offensively. They're going to probably start a left-handed pitcher on Friday. And they're probably 4 of their top 5 hitters are left-handed. So it'll pose a really good challenge for us, and we're going to need to play well. So really excited to get started and can't wait, and be happy to answer any questions you guys may have for me.
I have a question.
What was it about?
Go ahead, Brett.
Dylan Smith that made him the guy on Sunday. How did he kind of take control of that?
Well, neither one of those guys took control, and they've thrown well. I think, you take the 8 or 9 guys that we want to see have extended outings, and there's a sliding scale. Some guys have better stuff. Maybe some guys command it a little better. Some guys have a little more experience or less experience. So, I think what Antoine and Dylan have done, they've done a really good job of throwing all 3 of their pitches for a strike. I think their secondary stuff is probably what stands out for those 2 compared to maybe some of the other guys. But, again, we may get to next weekend and 2 other guys throw the first inning on Saturday or Sunday. You tell the kids in their mind it's I take this from Coach Oates, man. It's all about who's closing the game, not who's starting the game. And it's just as important to put up a 0 from the 4th through the 7th as it is through the 1st through the 3rd or 4th. So a lot of guys are going to pitch. We got a gazillion games, and I think it's 18 games in 24 days. So, that'll all take care of itself. But with that being said, Antoine and Dylan have done an outstanding job of with their secondary stuff, and that's why I'm really anxious to see them pitch this weekend.
Go ahead, Charlie.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to ask, you talked a lot about the pitching. What do you think is the strength of this team? Is it the pitching staff or is it something else?
Somebody asked me that the other day, and I don't know how to answer that. And I hope that doesn't sound negative. I like our club a lot. It's balance. Last year I thought our offense was ahead of our pitching. Not that our pitching wasn't good. I just thought we had a really high-end offensive group. This year I think we're solid offensively, not necessarily great yet. I think we're going to play solid defense. We need to be more consistent. It's got a chance to be better than that, but I think we will play solid defense. And I do like our pitching. We've got some real length to it. We finally have a real bullet on Friday night, very confident in the back end. And I think if one or two guys can take a step forward, and we certainly have several that have the talent where maybe we could have an established Saturday and Sunday starter and match up in the pen, then maybe that's got a chance to be plus. I'm not ready to slap plus on it yet. And I'm talking by SEC standards. So, if I had to, say what the strength is, I think it's our intangibles. And that's crazy to say when you have a group that's only had 11 guys play in an SEC game. But, man, we got a bunch of kids they're really focused well at a high level. They're really competitive and they're really determined. And I think, the term synergy comes to mind. I think we have a chance for the total package to be better than simply the sum of the individual parts. Now, 2 weeks from now when the game start, how mature are we at handling the failure that's inherent in our sport, and how do we respond to losing a game, or how do we respond when we start winning and we get ranked, and all of those things. We have several guys that are going to be drafted, and can they handle not chasing numbers and just focus on the process of playing the game? Those are all the things that we got to figure out. But at this point, man, I really like the mentality of this group.
Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, Brad, I just wonder about your thoughts about the expectations for this team. I know there's a top 25 ranking from Baseball America, and then I know the SEC West is pretty loaded, but you guys were picked 7th in that group. I guess, what are your thoughts on the range of expectations going into this season?
That's a good question. And, I don't know if I've ever been part of a group. Usually going into a season, you're pissed about not being ranked, or you're pissed or you're, kind of reining the kids in because, maybe they're ranked too high, and we're kind of in between, for the first time, Alabama has some expectations by some people, and that we do have some preseason rankings. And then you look at something else and another publication says that we suck, so, I think no matter whether it's really high or really low, as a coach, you tell the kids, don't worry about it. It's out of their control. And all that matters is what happens on the back end. And the beauty of playing in the Southeastern Conference, especially in the West, is it all takes care of itself. I mean, you play 30 league games, and if you win half or more, then nobody can argue that you're not one of the top 15 teams in the country. So, but it's human nature to look at all that. This was a total rebuild when I got here in the summer of 17. So, I understand that there are a lot of people that want us to go out and prove it before they dote on us, and that's certainly very logical. There are people that are familiar with our roster and know that we got, a very good roster, and we got a lot of good players. So I don't shy away from all that. I think these players and this coaching staff, we put higher expectations on ourselves than anybody's going to put on us. And I'm also very clear on how tough the league's going to be this year, especially the West. I mean, just tremendous respect for the other players and coaches and teams throughout the conference, especially on our side. So, there's no shame in how you're compared to the other teams in the West in February. And, we're going to get our chance to prove what we can do, good or bad, and whatever our record is when we get to May, then that's who we are.
Go ahead, Brett.
For Jim, how comfortable are you at shortstop right now, and to what extent are you benefiting from the little bit of second base you played last year and getting comfortable there?
I'd say that I'm sitting pretty comfortably right now. Like all the preparation and everything I've done with the coaching staff and like back home, I have a lot of like experience with my older siblings playing in college baseball, and so they've helped talk me through like being able to calm myself down and like coach is saying, be mature, I guess, in the position. And so I also I've talked to Colby Robinson a lot recently, just about like how he went about his game. And I like to think of Colby as like the most consistent baseball player of all time. So I'm trying to like embody his mentality, I guess you could say. But I think looking back on last year, like taking my experience from second base and like the few games that we got to play, I'm trying to keep that like momentum going forward of like playing as solid as I can as often as I can, I guess.
Charlie, go ahead.
Yeah, this one's for Connor. Just last year, you obviously got 4 starts, and then the season was shut down. Just where do you think that you've improved over the course of this offseason, and what do you kind of want to build on moving into your sophomore year?
What I really think I've improved on is I've really developed a third pitch, and I'm really looking forward to use that this season, which is a changeup. But I didn't use it a lot last year in my 4 starts.
Go ahead, guys. If anyone else has a question, Brett, you're next.
To go back to Jim, what'd you learn as a hitter in the shortened season last year? And I guess what'd you learn from the pitching that you saw, and how might you be better in the box?
I think I learned a lot last year, and especially in the extended break that we had, and then coming back in fall. I've messed around with some things, but the main thing that I've learned is, again, just how to relax. I talked to coaches a lot about it last year because that was, I think, one of my problems, that I was pretty antsy in the box. And so especially this preseason, what I've tried to do is just like control my mind. And I think I've made some progress in that like aspect of the game. And hopefully I can show it a little bit.
Coach, you had several options for shortstop. Why was Jim your best option?
Well, you come to practice every day. It's pretty easy, man. He catches the most balls. Jim's a really good player, man. He's just really well-rounded. And, I had Jim's oldest brother, Luke, at Auburn. It just comes from a baseball family, man. Great dad, great older brothers. Just a very skilled player. So, I mean, he's made it easy. And, Caden and Bryce and Peyton and, those guys are really good players too. But, I mean, you watch practice for 5 minutes, and Jim makes it pretty easy to run him out there.
I guess, Connor, for you, what will be key for you, or what can you learn from last year to really help you going into this season?
I guess just what it was really like just facing college hitters from what I faced like in high school was nothing close to like facing college hitters. So just like not taking it like any team too easy, I guess.
How do you handle, obviously you've received some attention last year and also some preseason accolades. How does that motivate you, or kind of how do you handle that personally?
Personally, I would try not to look at that stuff too much because I really haven't done that much yet. So I'm just really looking forward to like proving it through a whole season this year.
Go ahead, guys. If you have a question, just ask.
I guess, Connor, with that changeup, what's going to be key for you? What do you have to do to just make that a quality offering this year?
Me and Coach Jackson have been working on that since last fall, and this summer I use it a lot in Meridian, and especially this fall and this preseason I really use it a lot, and I think it's going to be beneficial for me.
Got any other questions, or are we good, guys?
I got a question for Coach. I guess have you seen a difference with Connor from, I know last year obviously was shortened, but have you seen a difference between him last year to this year at this point? And what are your expectations for him going into this year?
Yeah, Connor's improved tremendously, and like he was gonna hit some rough patches in league play. I mean, he had an amazing start, but it's just not typical to start a freshman opening day or on Friday night, and as well as he did. As the competition improved, like he was going to hit some rough patches, and he's commanding the ball a lot better. His misses are a lot smaller, and just really becoming more consistent. And yes, the changeup is noticeably better than it was a year ago. And when you get into league play and you're facing, I talked to our team about this the other day. If you're a pitcher and you come up in a scrimmage and you got to face Peyton Wilson, Sam Prater, and Drew Williamson, and Owen Diodati back to back, like you got to really bear down for about 25 pitches and really execute, because you throw a meatball out over the plate, they're going to whack it. And we're not the only team in the league like that. And sometimes when you have stuff, you throw hard or have a wipe out breaking ball, then you can be a little sloppy at times and overcome some short-term mistakes. But you get into league play and your margin for error just becomes a lot slimmer as a hitter and as a pitcher. So that's the one good thing about our scrimmages right now. I think as a pitcher, you're facing some really good hitters, and as a hitter, I think Jim would tell you, I told the kids this the other day too, like you're not going to see anything this spring that you haven't seen in scrimmage. There might be a handful of guys that truly stand out, but like our hitters, they're seeing 95, 96. They're facing Connor Prielipp, they're facing, those other guys. So I think it's going to help them be a lot more prepared, when we do get into league play, because it's in some ways going to be like playing a scrimmage.